It allowed me to have love and respect of other people in my life, where so many years of my life were spent. Get away from me! Stay away! Nobody in! It was awful. It was a terrible way to live for me. I thought I had it all figured out. I thought I had it locked. And boy, was I. So I think people should change. So yeah, don't apologize for that. Don't apologize, or they say stop apologizing for your opinion and saying no. Never apologize for your opinion unless you find it out that it was wrong or that it was a mistake. Well, I don't normally find myself apologizing for my opinion if I'm right. I think a lot of people do out of fear of being ostracized to fight for this take on quarterbacks with it, and he should, right? Like, they just got done playing there at the podium. Let it go, you dork, right? But like, I wear a backwards hat all the time. My girlfriend loves it. She'll tell you right now, dude, as soon as he turns that thing around, I have to change part of my clothing. Like, she likes it. So like, what do you think I do? I do what makes her, you know what I mean? Get kind of ready to go. But like, men back in the day didn't do that. And so, like, the men who are trying to bring style back, who want to, like, dress well on a plane versus, you know, mustard-stained sweatpants and all of that when they go to the store or on a plane, I can't hate it. I wish I had more dedication to do it. There's nothing stopping me from wearing a suit to work every day. There's absolutely nothing stopping me from doing that. I own tennis shoes, so that's what I'm in right now. Right? So that's what I am. They say, don't apologize for your choices. Do not let other people's opinions affect your choices. You choose how you live now. No, dumb. Absolutely stupid. You should apologize for plenty of your choices. You know why? Because you don't always know what's best. You don't. And sometimes doing what's best for you negatively affects everyone else around you. So sometimes you are going to have to apologize for what it was your choices were. Sorry, that's just the way it's going to go. Not everything you do is perfect. Dude, your crap doesn't smell like strawberry fields. It doesn't. You are human. You are going to make massive mistakes. And those mistakes were apologized for. And it does kind of feel like over the last decade or so, it's been like, just make them apologize for their existence, man. They're terrible. And it's kind of happened. But they say never apologize for changing. And I believe in changing. I believe, people say all the time, it's not that they can't, but betting the under is smart money. I would grant you that. Never apologize for your opinion and saying no. Well, again, if your opinion's wrong or if you've been made to see that it's wrong, I think an apology is okay there. They think that's what makes them virtuous. Like, nope, never change my opinion, man. It's because, I'm not a flip-flopper. It's like, well, when you're presented with new information and you go, oh, okay, I didn't know that, now I can change my opinion, like, that's not flip-flopping, that's being informed, right? There's a difference there. I think there's a difference there. Now, apologizing for saying no, I'm bad at this. Like, I just stopped at some point answering my phone and answering text messages a lot because I feel guilty when I tell people no. I do. But then what happens is the day comes when I got to do the thing or whatever it is, and I'm furious about it. It's like, all I had to do was tell him I was too busy. All I had to do was tell him no. Like, that's all I had to do. But, like, there's something about me that I like being relied upon. I love it, right? And I can feed off of that. And it provides value. And so I have a hard time telling people no. And when I do say no, I normally say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, but I just can't. And it's like, no, dude, just say no. Now, I don't think saying I'm sorry, I can't is the same thing as apologizing. I think you're just trying to say, dude, no sounds harsh, where it's like, I can't do this. I'm sorry, I can't do this is saying no. And I'm not sure that that's an apology, right? They say, don't apologize for your choices. Well, that's ridiculous. My choices can negatively affect the other people around me. And if they do, I should apologize for that. Or at least I'm sorry for what happened here, about this end of what happened. I'm sorry about that. We have convinced a whole generation full of people that if you think it, it's right. We've convinced a whole group of people that if you want it, it's good for you. Ridiculous. Nothing could be further from the truth. When in the history of mankind have you seen what people desire be good for them? Like, come on. Like, it just doesn't really work that way, right? So you should apologize even to you for some of your choices. Do you wish you were 30 pounds heavier or lighter right now than you are? I'm guessing most people do. Well, your choices is what got you there. So maybe don't apologize to yourself. Maybe take action there, right? And I'm talking to me now, not you. So maybe take action there. But you should maybe apologize to you for what you've done to you. Have you put cigarettes and booze and drugs into your body, Stansberry? Well, yes, I did all three of those things at alarming rates. You should maybe apologize to yourself for that. And maybe not say, I'm sorry to myself for this, but by changing your behavior and not doing these things at the rates you were, that one. They say, don't apologize for who you love. You don't need to apologize for who you love or where you stick your, oh, hey, look, now that I say that. You should not feel wrong for, I'm going to get that lecture for sure. But I don't apologize for loving that big ass on that woman. I love it. Can't get enough of it. Got my hands on it constantly. Can't get my hands off it, man. It's home base. So I don't apologize for that. And I do think it's strange that we expect gay men to apologize for the fact that they love men. I don't know what makes me attracted to women. Like, I don't know. Like, I know I'm attracted to the physical traits of my girlfriend, but I don't know what makes me attracted to him. And, like, I didn't see her that day and say to myself, be attracted here. I just looked over there and was like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. And I was attracted to her. That was it. I didn't decide that. So, yeah, I don't really expect people to have to apologize for who they love because I don't think you get to pick it. You know? I have been attracted to and in love with women on all up and down the spectrum, man. Skinny ones, heavy ones, big ones, redheads, brunettes, blondes. Dude, for a while, man, your boy was just about variety, right? Like, that was literally it. I just like spending time with interesting, good-looking women. That was my thing, right? So I don't think you should apologize for who you love. And they say, don't apologize for having a healthy diet. If you want to eat healthy, it doesn't matter if it makes other people uncomfortable. If you choose to eat clean and healthy and they don't, you don't have to apologize for it. No, you do not. But what you don't do is lecture everybody else. Isn't that what you do? Yeah, sort of. But I think the difference is, like, vegans can get real preachy about not eating certain things. What I'm doing is telling you to use a little bit more restriction in how much of the thing you're eating. It's not a moralistic, like, don't kill Bambi. Yeah. Like, I'm not one of those, right? We got the thumbs and we have communication. We rule, baby. So I'll eat any damn animal I want. I'm gonna do, that's what you do when you're at the top of the pile. To the victor go the spoils. And that's how it works. And that cow is my spoil. So get that steak on my plate right now. Right? Like, I'm into that. But we should have some restriction on how much of these things we're doing. And I do think there's a difference in that. And sometimes people who are like, you know, animal products, we just don't jive. Like, that's not vibes. Like, haven't you heard? Eating animal parts, that's not vibes. Whatever the hell that may be. Right? And so, like, so I think those two things are different. I will throw another one in here on the healthy diet thing. You know what does seem to happen to people? If you say, nah, man, I'm good. Oh, come on, you can have one. Like, not misery loves company, but party loves company for sure. And, like, people sometimes feel as if they have to apologize for the fact that they're not going to drink at something. That's crazy. You don't know if not everybody wants to go, I'm an alcoholic, you moron. Right? And, like, that, not everybody wants to do that. Much like I've said, quit harassing your family members about when they're going to have kids at Thanksgiving dinner. You see these people twice a year. You have no idea if they're fertile or not. Somebody might not be able to have kids. It may be the worst thing in their life to them. And you going, when am I getting my grandbaby? When am I getting a little niece or nephew? Makes you awful because you're opening that wound. And not everybody wants to tell Aunt Sarah that they can't have children. Like, you got to think. So I would throw those two in there for that. I know I kind of threw that kid thing in there. It has nothing to do with diets and this and that. But I do think people feel as if they have to apologize for not having drinks. I've never seen anybody apologize for not hitting a joint at a party, ever. Ever. I've never seen that. Alcoholics are like, what? Everybody drinks until they black out, right? Like, that's literally how they think. And so I think sometimes the people have to apologize for that, and I think that's kind of BS. I don't love that. The last thing on the list, don't apologize for your success. They say you should be proud of yourself for success and don't have to apologize or play it down. This doesn't mean boast or brag, but you don't need to make an excuse for your success. Well, yes, you do. And not because of you, but because of must be nice, must be nice, must be nice. Yeah, the end result is nice. You bet your ass it is. But see, you didn't see all of this before that led up to the successful person having shooting just, free throws over and over and over again. You didn't see the 2-a-day practices. You didn't see the being smashed up in the hockey board at 11 years old trying to be the great one. You didn't see it. You saw the end result. So we demand people apologize for their success all the time. We demand people with public eye jobs to kind of kick the dirt and kind of go, oh, shucks, just so lucky to be here, because not everybody gets to do what they want to do for a living. Society forces successful people to apologize for their success. We demand it out of them. We call it, by the way, we don't call it apologizing for success. What we call it is humility. Now, more celebrities these days should be using some more humility. Absolutely. That's why telling people not to apologize for their success, I think it depends on who you're telling that to. You tell, and again, younger people, I'm sorry, but when you tell a younger person that, they think that's spread on the fake spray tan, get out there like Randy the Macho Man Savage, and tell everybody you're the man. That's not the same thing as being proud of your success. It isn't. Being proud of your success is this. It's quiet. And you just stand back and you kind of look at everything you've done and you just have an appreciation for it. My girlfriend says it to me all the time. When are you going to enjoy this? Dan, 25 years. You've dominated Canton for 10 years. Nobody's close. It's like, Dan, when are you going to enjoy this? And she never understands it. The day I enjoy it is the day the show gets worse. That's how I think. That's how my brain goes. Don't take your eye off that ball now. It's coming 95 miles per hour. You better get that bat ready to go because we got to hit it over the fence every day. And that's how it works. And it is a byproduct of people, dude, if you enjoy your success, it's like, oh, must be nice. And, geez, a little full of yourself, huh? Where it's like, well, yeah, man, sometimes when you work in an unrelenting business that has literally spit out every last person you've ever seen and you make it through, there does come pride in that for yourself. Too many people are boasting. I would agree with that. But society demands you apologize for success. I mean, we just demand it out of people. Let's start New Turd Tuesday. Let's do that with Austin Snell, and we'll do it next on Rock 106.9.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Auto Group in Massillon, ProgressiveAutoGroup.com.
Find your credit amnesty at Progressive and get pre-qualified in less than 5 minutes. Get a fresh start today.
Progressive Auto Group in Massillon, ProgressiveAutoGroup.com.
Warning, the show you're about to hear has been prepared by some of the best talent in the industry we could get. For the money. Do not attempt this at home. Doing so would only expose just how useless and brainless these people really are.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you ready?
Because if we didn't give him a job, he'd probably be dead. It's the Stansberry Show. Rock 106. 1069.
Welcome to Wednesday morning on the Stansbury Show on Rock 1069. You can find us online at WRQK.com. If you missed yesterday's program, that's where we host the podcast. Now, not in the podcast is New Turd Tuesday. That's the one segment every week we are not permitted to put in there. We had New Austin Snell for you, everybody's friend. It's about booze, being everybody's like co-pilot there.
Every student, every dive.
It's a pretty good song, actually.
Cats from Buzz and the Unsons. Yeah, they all feel nice.
So we voted not a turd on Austin Snell. We also gave you a new Bruce Dickinson, Rain on the Graves. I love him. I'm a diehard Iron Maiden guy from back in the day. I do prefer Maiden to Bruce's solo stuff personally, but this, like, that sounds okay. But, like, the song just didn't really connect at all. And his voice is definitely aged, which I'm surprised. I've seen videos of them playing live over the last couple of years. He sounded fine, but this doesn't sound great.
I came across a man. He smiled and slowly beckoned me with a trembling hand. Did you come to gamble?
And so, you know, he's chasing Gandalf around an island or something, like, you know, what always is happening with the Iron Maiden stuff. And then we gave you new Mick Mars. He's released his new record. I think The Life of Mars is what it's called. Now, this is The Right Side of Wrong is the name of this song. I was expecting to hate it, and I got to tell you, I voted not a turd. I like it. I think he's going to get McMarsed, and by that I mean, like, when people, like, if you were told this was a new band, I think people would be like, oh, it's pretty good. You find out it's an 80-year-old guy who was popular in the 80s. I don't know if I like that. He says he's open to writing with Motley again, so he's going to end up writing with Motley again. That's not Mick singing. I actually like the hook of this song. We'll get you to that so you can understand why I'm right. That was new Mick Mars, Right Side of Wrong. We gave you that yesterday, and we not a turd. Yeah, that's the way we came down on that one there. Not the worst stuff ever there from Mick Mars. We got a lot to get to on the program today, including Tommy Hilfiger. Maybe the next person dragged for an improper opinion. He was talking about women's fashion, you know, because that's his business. And he started talking about the styles of jeans he sees on young people, older people, and then he started talking about the jeans he wants to see on women. And man, was that a little bit of a problem for Tommy. It of course is not, but people are going to pretend that they're upset with Tommy, so we have something to, you know, complain about. There is no issue here whatsoever. I'll defend Mr. Hilfiger. We'll get to that. We'll do that coming up 9 o'clock this morning. 8:45 is when you win your way into Primus. That show's got Coheed and Cambria on it. August 5th, Blossom Music Center. And I'll get you in at 8:45 this morning. Also, in the 8 o'clock hour, I saw Paul McCartney yesterday say something about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions. Now, we know who the nominees are. The induction ceremony in Cleveland, I believe, this fall. And Paul McCartney is out there kind of talking about the fan vote. And he's urging people to kind of get on this vote of an artist that's on this list. Now, I have defended the Rock Hall many, many years, talking about, well, dude, you can't put everybody in on the first year. Otherwise, there's no reason to do the induction ceremonies every single year. There is a band that's on the list who should be in already. And if they don't go in this year, it will be a little bit of an oversight and it will be egregious. Paul McCartney's kind of getting on that. He's kind of helped push this ball up the hill. And I have a, slew of their songs here. And we're going to take a listen through some of their material in the 8 o'clock hour, and it will be obvious that they deserve to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So we'll get to that. We'll talk about that in the 8 o'clock hour this morning. Also, I have what they tell me, employed Americans, which I would assume is most of you, and it is me, obviously, as I'm at my place of work right now. They tell me here this is what employed Americans would prefer from their place of business versus a raise. I disagree. I'll take the raise. I'll take the thing that matters. I will take the thing that the creditor wants. I will take the thing that the store wants. I will take the thing that I need to give to the kid to where they can have the weekend they want. I'll take the thing that I need to go play golf when I want. You know, I'll take the thing that gives me my goddamn freedom. I'll take that, please. Can I have that, please? Is that maybe why you don't want me to have it? Is that what it is, right? So they tell me employed Americans are looking for something from their boss, and it's not a raise, and they would actually prefer it. I don't believe this even for a little bit. We'll talk about that throughout the program today as well. Also at 7 a.m., we're going to find out today, guys. Are you man enough? Are you man enough to be a baby girl man? Whatever the hell one of those may be. We'll find out coming up at 7 o'clock, and we'll find out whether or not you or I are baby girl men. You'll be able to contribute to that or any conversation through the text line at 330-450-7625. There's a toll-free option you can call as well at 800-243-7625. And if you're more into the socials thing, you can find me on your favorite socials at The Stansberry Show.
If you leave, you'll miss this on The Stansberry Show.
Oh my God, man. We got a workout video yesterday and people have lost their minds. Is he coming home? Maybe. Let's take a look at this next.
Back to The Stansberry Show. Rock 106.9.
It's 330-450-7625 to send a text to the studio, and you can find me on your socials at The Stansberry Show. You know, sometime I believe in the 8 o'clock hour, we may have to take a look at the rise of subtitles in entertainment. Apparently, there is a generation that is obsessed with subtitles on the television, and it's not who you think it is. I saw some responses yesterday. I guess some of it makes sense. We'll get there. I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, I can't believe people enjoy that. But here we are. All right, so last night the Cavs pull out a win. Max Strus hit a 59-footer, to give the Cavs the go-ahead win there against the Mavs. I actually missed it. I was a guest. Scott and I from waitingfornextyear.com were both guests last night on a female-driven sports podcast. I believe it's called The Squad Sports. They were referring to it as 3 different things last night. Squad Sports, Bougie Sports. There was a couple of different things in there. I got to be honest with you, it was 8:30 at night, and I was kind of just like ready to go to bed. So I wasn't all the way locked in there. As a matter of fact, when we signed off and I thought back on some of my answers, I was like, man, I was just lost. I was just in the weeds, man, because I was like, it's been a long day. But I missed that Max Strus, that bucket last night. Now, I obviously saw it, the highlight package about 90 times, when I did sign off of that pod and then turn the TV on a little bit to go to bed, and then I saw it this morning everywhere. And it's kind of, it's kind of great. We've talked about this before. What's the best, final ending of a play, of a sport? Again, as I'm getting into Premier League, they have their own versions of this. I'll still take the walk-off home run in baseball. To me, feels like the Hail Mary in football doesn't feel all that impressive. It feels very, very lucky at that point. Literally what it is like, throw it up in a prayer here, right? I don't think when a batter's in the box, he's thinking to himself, I need a prayer here. You're facing Nolan Ryan, or some of the best pitchers of all time. Okay, maybe all right, man, let's lock in here. Right, this is going to be a big moment. Fair enough. But when the one-on-one aspect of pitcher versus batter there, bottom of the 9th, walk-off home run, I still think that's the most impressive way to end a game and just be done. The dominance of it, I think, just jumps off the television. Now, not a lot of baseball jumps off the TV. But that would, for me. Now, for me, I'll take the walk-off there, but it's kind of hard to hate on a half-court 3, to win a game. Now, not necessarily a championship series, anything along those lines, right? You're talking about a regular season game, but I'll still take it. You want to win more than you want to lose. So that was a pretty impressive shot there from Max Strus. He had played with the Miami Heat, and they were on that run, I think it was last year. And I'm on a station near Miami. I do weekends for them down there. And, we kind of have to pay attention to what's going on with their teams, much like I do here with the Cleveland stuff and all of that. And so I kind of got a little taste of Max Strus during all of that. And I was like, man, I kind of like that guy. You know what I mean? Because his thing was, he was confident enough to hit a bucket when you needed him to hit it, but he never got to the point of like, I'm better than Jimmy Butler, right? Like, it's like, no, dude, this is still about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy needs a guy who's confident enough to step up and hit a jumper. And like, he's kind of that guy. And that's why when the Cavs acquired him, I was like, oh, well, I kind of like that. Like, I think that may work out. Not that I thought he was going to end up hitting a 59-footer to win a game, but, you know, I didn't hate that addition there of Max Strus. Now, we got a little bit more Cavs news, I guess, if you want to call it that, yesterday. I'm going to stop short of that because I think this is people projecting. So you may have forgotten that Myles Garrett is now a minority owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He bought in, right? And Myles has said plenty of times, like, he's making Cleveland his home. Like, that's going to be a thing. And this, by the way, you know, for a guy like me who criticizes a lot of these new style athletes about not liking where they play and wanting to move and wanting to do that. I mean, look, you got Jose Ramirez. He's like, I'm Cleveland now. I want my kid born there. Dude, I'm building a park there. Dude, you leave me in Cleveland. Jose Ramirez, leave me right there. Myles Garrett, dude, I want to be here. I want to be in the land, right? Like, so, you know, we're kind of lucking out with the star thing, you know, wanting to stick around. But yesterday, Myles Garrett, I think it was it LeBron's Instagram maybe is where this got posted? They were both working out together. And I don't know if you've ever seen LeBron or Myles Garrett without their shirts on, but it's impressive, right? Like, it's like, wow, there's a reason why I'm not a professional athlete. And I think those guys' bodies might be exhibit A, right? And so they're doing the same workout thing and they're doing it together. It's a very short video. But of course, everybody's jumping over themselves to be like, LeBron's coming home now. LeBron's coming home now. Right? We've seen this movie before. He ended up on the cover of a magazine with nobody else, no other star athlete saying, I'm coming home. And my guess is if that's what we were looking at here, it would not be in a video with Myles Garrett. LeBron kind of likes him some LeBron, man. And he kind of likes that spotlight being on him. I think this is about putting heat on the Lakers. I think this is about getting people talking about these two things together. I think this is about getting Myles Garrett and the thirst of the NFL, paying attention to some NBA guys with it. I think there's a lot of that. I think LeBron is easily a bigger star international players. Domestically, maybe not. I mean, maybe more so than Myles, not more so than most quarterbacks. Like, it's just the way it is. Football is just that much of a bigger sport here in this country. I don't think it's about LeBron coming home. I think a lot of people are assuming that's going to happen. And part of the reason is why? Because you know he wants to play with Bronny. And you're thinking that the Cavs have low self-esteem and they will acquire Bronny to get LeBron, right? Of course. That's kind of what I think, too. I think it could happen. I don't think this video is them, like, kind of leading you down the path of that. LeBron's still a Laker, and we kind of know how he is. He kind of likes to lock in during that. And, you know, he likes to play cryptic throughout the season. Then all of a sudden come the playoffs, then he'll lock in and be that guy and be like, whoa, I don't know what everybody's talking about all this cryptic stuff. It's because you breadcrumbed it all over the goddamn internet. Is that maybe why people are doing it, LeBron? And, you know, as I brought up Bronny James, we should maybe talk about that as smidge here. As Bronny's averaging, I don't know, it's like 2.5 points a game. He's not doing all that great, right? Now, I already mentioned Jimmy Butler. His numbers when he was at Marquette early in his, you know, college career kind of look where Bronny James' numbers are right now. So people are saying, dude, don't give up on this kid yet. He may turn into a nice NBA player. A little above average NBA player. Okay, well, the difference there, though, is nobody was telling me Jimmy Butler could start for the Lakers tonight when he was at Marquette. Like, that wasn't happening. So LeBron came out yesterday, you know, the other day, and he was like, you know, everybody's got to slow down on my kid. Stop, you know, and it would be hard, I would imagine, to watch the world criticize your children. Like, that would be very difficult. I always say, you criticize me, I'm fine with it. You start coming for the family, yeah, it's going to bother me more than some other things, right? It's like, I expect it. But they shouldn't be catching strays over what the hell it is I'm doing, right? And so I feel like, you know, it would be tough to watch your kid, watch the country evaluate them, and not stick up for your kid. That's good dad territory there, you know. But he's like, can everybody just relax and let them enjoy college basketball? Holmes, you the dude that needs to relax and let them enjoy college basketball, and you don't know how because you didn't play college basketball. But at the end of the day, it was like 2 months ago, you were telling everybody Bronny could start for the Lakers right now. Like, I think, oh, wait, did I get crazy there with the start? He could help the Lakers right now, I think is what it was. No, he can't. In sales, maybe. In interest of, like, LeBron passes to his kid, maybe. But could he, without you on the floor, help the Los Angeles Lakers right now? The answer is no. He welcomed all this in, pumping this kid up, and now when his kid doesn't deliver, he's now blaming all of us for going, this really isn't the story we were told it was going to be. Now, anybody saying anything past that about a college kid, it's like, dude, let it go, right? At the end of the day, okay, you were right, he's not an NBA player. It doesn't necessarily got to be your whole identity. But LeBron looking around for where the bad guy is, it's like, homie, be right there in that mirror.
We would have them drug tested, but why waste the money? The Stan Sperry Show on Rock 106.9.
8:45 this morning, I'm going to get you into Primus. The show's in August at Blossom. Coheed and Cambria are part of that too. Pretty good night, so we'll get you hooked up at 8:45 this morning. All right, I saw this yesterday, and I'm not sure I believe it at all. Much like I don't believe a lot of things I see in headlines, right? But I'm told that employed Americans, that would be me, and I would assume most of you, right? I'm willing to bet most people who don't have to go to work probably aren't up at 6:45 on a Wednesday morning, right? Maybe you would be, I don't know. But employed Americans apparently are looking for something more from their boss, not necessarily a raise. Right? They tell me here, a poll of 2,000 employed Americans, that 55% of people, so just over half, right, prefer having a personalized form of gratitude given to them in the workplace. Compared to like 52 said, well, give me the raise. 28% said they would prefer a promotion. I have zero interest in a promotion. I've almost done everything I can to make sure they don't make me take another promotion. And especially these days, because I feel like a promotion comes in title only, and not all that much more money. Like in my line of work, it's, hey man, want to do 10 to 2 on the buzzard for us now too? Right? And it's like, oh, by the way, yeah, I mean, there's a little, but not really. Not really. But you'll do it for us, right? Yeah. Like, that's my version of that, right? And I feel like that's very common in corporate America now, where it's like, hey, man, you're going to get promoted. And is my paycheck getting promoted? Not even close, bro. Don't even think about it, right? We're in a great economy. Everybody's doing, doing raise freezes and payment freezes and all this stuff because the economy's so good, right? Yeah. Thanks, right? Usually you don't see pay freezes and hiring freezes. You don't normally see that in a great economy, but apparently in this one we are. Among those personal forms of appreciation, people like receiving commendations in one-on-one conversations. That's about 15% of people said that. Shocked by it. I thought this was going to be a lot, because again, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the human race. I thought this was going to be a lot about the fact that people wanted to be kind of singled out, so like the rest of the workforce could see, I tried to tell you, I told you I was the good one, right? Like I thought it was going to be a lot about that. People are looking for receiving the Employee of the Month award. Well, I'm easily the Employee of the Month. It would not be close. Although we used to have that here, and I never once won it. That, it's like, thank God we took it away, because who the hell else were you giving it to? I never understood that. Apparently being given a handshake, that. I'm a little lucky here. I do not hate my bosses at all. The guys I report to on the local level, as a matter of fact, don't change a single one of them. I'll take every last guy I got, right? And above them, well, let's not be changing a lot of them guys either, because then they normally change the guys I got locally, and let's not be doing that, right? So, I'll kind of take things as they are right now. And our bosses are very good to us on a personal level like that. We will get handshakes. They'll say good morning to us. They will treat us like human beings, right? A lot of people are looking to just be given a shout out via text message, maybe even an email. I don't necessarily want to be highlighted in a group email. I'll feel uncomfortable by it. If you want to tell me, if you want to send me an email, I'm fine with that. When I'm used as an example of good, and it has happened in company-wide meetings for sure, we show you this example of Stansbury here, and he did this, it makes me a little uncomfortable. And I'm always like, are they going to shoot me in the back of the head now? Is this like Goodfellas where I think I'm about to get made and they just pump bullets into the back of my skull? Is that what's going to happen there? 61% of us said we wish we were recognized more for their work. Yeah, I think that's true of most of them. This has happened to me where a personalized gift of gratitude happened. This man no longer works here, but once upon a time we had a guy named Jeff who was running the sales department then. He has since moved on and has done other things. And out of nowhere one day, I walked into the studio in the morning to come in and start the show, and there was a brand new sandwich on the board. And it just had a Post-it on it and says, "Thanks for everything you do, Dan. We're lucky to have you." And I gotta be honest with you, I almost fell over. I don't even know if I have the club anymore. I might have sold it. But I still have that Post-it. I have the Post-it. I don't know why. Guy doesn't even work here. But it did. It meant that much to me. Because sometimes it can be a little thankless. The expectations are high, so when you succeed, people go, well, you did it. You did what we told you you needed to do. Like, nobody thanks you. Like, everybody's just like, well, now we don't have to fire you. Thumbs up, buddy. You get one more ratings period until we got to fire you. Thumbs up, buddy. Right? Like, that's kind of how it works. So, like, and I know I'm not the only person in a thankless job. How many of you are driving in today going to absolutely knock it out of the park and nobody's going to say a damn thing to you? Most, probably. So I understand people saying, I kind of need a little bit of this in my office, because you do need a little bit more of this in your office, for sure you do. But in reality, what you actually need is a raise, right? I'm just going to, not all of you, plenty of you are making, believe me, I had drinks with a listener not that long ago, dude, who told me what he makes. And I was like, oh my God, dude, my company should run in the high. Like, I couldn't believe it, right? I could not, when he found out I didn't make what he made, he was shocked. And I was like, yeah, I know, man, right? Like, it's kind of one of those. And so, like, plenty of you are making really good money, right? But most people right now are not. That's why we talk grocery store prices. That's why everybody's talking about how expensive everything is. That's what we need. You want morale up in the office? Pay people a little bit more money. Yes, they are going to get accustomed to the more money after 9, 10, 12 months, whatever it is, and they'll go back to complaining about that. Sure. But at least you get the 9, 10, 12 months, whatever the hell it is. You know, there's a reason why the meme of, hey, raises, no, here's a pizza party. There's a reason why that's a meme. Is because how many people have experienced that. But if you've gotten so bad at managing your people to where they don't even expect you to say good job, the pizza party, or the money, then you can't be surprised you're losing quality staff. You can't. There are competitive businesses out there that are looking to hire and are looking to pull good talent in. It's not everybody, but there are people who are doing it. And it will always be harder to hold on to good talent as you are holding them down. People want to spread their wings, man, and they kind of want to go. But I've talked about this before. How many companies really want you to advance in your career? Not that many, because then they got to pay you more money. They want to keep you right where you're at. Right where you're at. Lucky to be there. You know how that works, right? That's where everybody tells me. Lucky to be there. Lucky to be making that money. That's where most companies kind of want you. Because the more you learn, the more you acquire, the more you're able to do, the more they got to pay you. These days in corporate America, man, it's like, we just fired Bill and Sally. So, Dan, you're doing Bill and Sally's job without Bill and Sally's money. The American dream, baby. Ain't it great?
He's a bad influence. But nobody is stupid enough to take him seriously. The Stansbury Show on Rock 106.9.
I am a more than adequate influence. Not a bad influence. I'm a positive member of society. Right? I feel as if that's what I feel like today. We'll get you into Primus at least. I'll do that at 8:45. And the number you'll need is 330-450-7625. You can text that number, by the way, throughout the program to weigh in on anything, including this. You know, so much of what I talk about on the program usually comes from articles that are written like, women believe and men now say. And it's such a hard thing because like, not all women believe one thing, not all men believe another thing. Like, you hear it all the time in the political spectrum, right? Well, the black vote and the Mexican vote and this, it's like, stop pretending all of those people vote the same way, because, like, they don't. Stop pretending everybody, like, in a group of people thinks the same way, because, well, they don't, right? And, like, but we're pretty bad at it. And so I saw this article about women now and what they want out of their men. Okay? And I think this is just another version of us being obsessed with naming something that's been around forever. But apparently, because toxic masculinity did so many awful things to society, you know, known as creating every last damn thing. But, like, besides that, right? Like, toxic masculinity was really, really bad. And so people are now looking to rotate against it, right? Away from it, right? This is why rock music isn't the most popular music on the planet right now. And, like, we've been through these conversations. So apparently what the younger generation of women are looking for is to dump the toxic masculinity. And they're looking to embrace a baby girl man. Which today, I gotta be honest with you, I thought it was a man dressed up like a baby, pretending. No, identifying. No, not pretending, identifying. You use the words right, or you'll get punished. We will punish you, right? That's what I thought I was gonna be dealing with here, but it's not. Apparently, a guy, and I don't know who Jacob Elordi is. You guys would have to help me there. But apparently, he was hosting Saturday Night Live. Nobody heard about him doing it because he's a baby girl man. Everybody around the world heard about Shane Gillis do it because, well, he's an actual man. And so, but apparently this guy's getting all the love. He's an Australian actor. And he's getting the love for being a baby girl man. And apparently there's been a few definitions of this word. But what they tell me here in this article is a baby girl man comes across as sweet, charming, a bit bashful, and seemingly in touch with their feminine side, ready to talk about their feelings or carry a purse to brunch at any point. Okay, there are so many women every day who listen to me who think I am a toxic masculinity idiot man like that. There's women who believe that, okay? I am, to the right people, very sweet. Charming, I think, you know, we could have that debate, although I think it goes into the career. Bashful, I don't think I would be. But I am in touch with my feminine side for sure. As a matter of fact, the alphas always get on me because I'll cry. You know, over my dead niece, or maybe over a relationship, or over that. And yet, so the alphas think I'm like, well, they call me queer. Are you allowed to do that? But, like, that's what they call me. So, like, that the alphas call me that, and, like, the women call me toxic masculinity, dude. And it's like, well, that kind of tells me I'm not either, right? Like, I'm not either. And I think that's probably a lot of people. They say traditionally highlighting feminine qualities in men has been seen as a little bit of a negative. But, you know, now, as if toxic masculinity is taking a back seat to everything, people are looking to go the other way. Women are looking to go the other way there. For one, Gen Z is much more fluid, they say, when it comes to gender and sexuality than older generations. Encouraging rather than condemning, blurring the lines around previously restrictive boxes separating masculine and feminine. All right. I'll talk about my feelings all the time. I've talked about this a million times. Most women that I've dated in my life, excluding the one I have now, have been the kind of women who are like, I want a guy who would just talk to me, like, tell me. But then when you shut the TV off and you're like, all right, let's do it. They ain't never got nothing to say, man. I've told you before, they're like a bully in a lunch line. Like, they get you to come off that change, dude, just because of the myth of it. If you really do, shut that playoff game one time and tell her, let's talk about it. She ain't gonna have nothing to go, dude. Like, nothing. There's absolutely zero in the chamber. She ain't got it. Like, she ain't got it. What they know is men are deathly afraid of that conversation. The where are we going? What are we? Dude, they don't know either. They don't know either, dude. They all get together. I think remember when they separated us in 5th grade? This is what they taught women how to do, right? How to hustle their man for the rest of their lives and be fearful of a conversation. But I'm that guy. And I can't tell you how many women I've dated who were saying things like that, and then when I turned around and said, okay, let's do it. I'm a communicator by trade. That phrase I say at home all the time. You're the one that has a hard time here. I'm a communicator by trade. I want to be fleshing this out. If I had a dime, and I mean a dime, baby, for every time I use that phrase. So, like, I think women sometimes, not all, and I'm not speaking to all women, sometimes you're just talking a big game here. Like, you are. Like, you are. I don't think it's that you... Do you want a guy who hits you? No. Like, of course not, right? But I don't think there's, like, a guy who has some traditional male skills, being able to change a tire, although, like, again, the alphas think I'm whatever bad words you want to insert here. Hi, John. But, like, they all want to call me, like, those weird words, right, and all that kind of stuff. But, like, I can change my tire. I can change the oil in my car. Like, I can, you know what I mean? I can do traditional male things. Sometimes it may not sound like it because I'm very self-deprecating in here, you know, to combat the, you think you know everything, you think you're so smart, you think you're perfect, you think blah, blah. And so then you throw in a little self-deprecating there to counteract that. But I don't believe most women in Canton, even young women, I don't believe most Gen Z women in Canton want a man who's going to carry a purse to brunch. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you tell me there are pockets of these women in metropolitan cities, major U.S. cities, okay, maybe. But even in, like, Cleveland's a bigger city than Canton, right? Nobody's going to be shocked to find that out this morning. Not that many Gen Z women in Cleveland are looking for a man that carries a purse to brunch. Like, they're not, dude. Like, come on. That's not what people are looking for. But apparently Jacob Elordi had a purse. Pedro Pascal's wearing, you know, shorts, but I don't know why that's... why is shorts baby girl? Men wear shorts. Have you ever seen an NBA game? They're wearing shorts. Is that baby girl? LeBron's like 6'9", 280. Like, is that... Although, have you seen what LeBron walks into the arena with every night? It does look like he's carrying a purse.
You thought Stansbury was a mess on air? Check out the show's Facebook page. At Stansbury Show. Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the Stansbury Show on Rock 106.9. 9 a.m. this morning, what Tommy Hilfiger had to say about women's clothing. People are upset with him, but he's just making sense. We'll get there. We had been talking about a issue between men and women already. Apparently, the younger generation of women, and I don't believe this at all, are looking for a baby girl man. This is apparently, as you know, Gen Z, they say, much more fluid when it comes to gender and sexuality than older generations. Encouraging rather than condemning, blurring the lines around the previously restricted boxes separating masculine and feminine. All right, I mean, I guess if we're going to live in the alternate reality where there
tore it up a while back to see what was going on underneath, to see if he could just pave it with concrete, but
a whole lot,
wasn't able to.
You kind of gravitate towards one of two things normally, even as kids. You ever notice that? I mean, they've done it plenty of times.
Didn't have a snowstorm this time.
Plenty of psychological.
Yep, that's all up north.
Put the Tonka truck in the middle. Put the baby, put the, Barbie in the middle. They've done it a million times. Like a million times. It's like one of those things where it's like nobody wants to admit that there are inherent differences, right? Because does that
last
mean less?
time and
I kind of feel like that means less than.
I couldn't even, the roads are so bad I couldn't even keep the car on the road. Took me almost an hour to get home, and normally it takes 20 minutes.
We'll be getting messed up with us over that, right? But apparently, heterosexual women are rusting over baby girl men.
I had a bit of a scare last time I drove. You know the Walmart we're out here? And there's the entrance that's through the gas station. I'm still kind of trying to get used to the timing of slowing down. It slowed down in time to take the turn, so I couldn't complete it and ended up jumping the curb. So I was like, okay, yeah, that was scary.
Men who are afraid to admit they got any feelings whatsoever. Like a lot of those guys think like a lot of them.
Luckily, no damage was done to the car other than something that was already there. A year ago, apparently,
but a lot of them. I know you're gay.
Josh hit a big pothole,
how comfortable I would be,
and it ripped off the front bumper.
So
when I hit the curb, it ripped off the bumper again. But it wasn't damaged, so he could just slam it back into place. Literally, he just held it there and just went, and it was just back on.
I'd probably be talking to three of you, but like at the end of the day, like I don't care about. Take the joke. I'm kidding. Relax. Right? But I don't buy this. I really don't. Now, it can be tough because sometimes people say they want something and they don't.
Yeah. Other than that, I was doing completely fine the rest of the way.
Some of you have bullied a man into being more emotional than when you saw it.
Yeah, it was just, it was that turn. I couldn't. I
was talking.
I didn't time the easing on the brake quick enough.
Some women do want the ultimate masculine.
End up taking the turn.
Have no feelings.
Quickly.
Get in the kitchen and cook it, woman. Right? Like some women do like that. Right? Like they do. I don't think it's the ball, but plenty of women like that. You know. If I could guess, isn't what everybody's looking for here? What women are looking for here isn't a man who carries a purse.
Apparently
you're looking for a fair shake.
My mom and grandparents are going to be looking
That's
at.
What you're looking for here. A guy that maybe knows where the vacuum cleaner is in the house when it's not in your
One of them, I think they're both still around this area.
To pick up the kid after
one of
school.
them's,
a guy that understands, dude, that being a dad isn't just telling them when bedtime.
It's a bigger house.
Isn't that what you want?
I don't know if that one is the one on
and
Whipple,
yet still
but
a man.
One of them is a bigger house.
It's like I just said makes a man less of a man.
3 living spaces,
or makes you less masculine.
And
as a matter of fact, nothing in my
said
view
once I'm out of school, if we do get it, it's not guaranteed.
There's too many of your cowards.
If we do get that house specifically, I'll have an entire living space of that house.
Stickers on the bumper of your 250. You look ridiculous. You want to be an alpha? Raise those kids, man.
Basically, it's kind of like how your apartment
Show
is.
me you're an
just
alpha. Quit telling me. Show it to me one time.
Studio apartment type thing.
But too many guys ran away from their responsibilities while they're talking about being a man. You know there are dudes who laugh at guys like me who will date women who have children?
And even if we don't get that,
simp. Look at you,
still try to find a place
I don't even know what the hell the accusation
find a way to give me my own
look at me, decent person.
Space.
Oh, okay, I suppose. Now, I got that from my dad. My mom had my brother when my dad met my mom. Some of you may not know the story. My mom and dad dated in 7th, 8th grade. High school, my dad was like, drugs, man. And my mom was like, nah, I ain't into it, right? My dad goes to Vietnam, drugs, man, right? And then comes back, meets my mom. And she had already been married, divorced, and had David. And they reconnected at the bowling. They started going out. They had me, found God, and here we are. You know what my dad must have told me 10,000 times while I was growing up? Don't ever rule out a woman just because she has a child before you got there. Had I done that, Daniel, I would have missed your mother, and you wouldn't be here. So I just saw it differently my entire life. You kind of are where you come from. I've told you this before. It's not my theory. It actually comes from Colin Cowherd, but I like this. His wife told him this, as they've mixed families together. She had kids, and so did he, and they kind of got married, and they mixed kids together. She has said, you are only going to be one of two things to your children. A great example, or a terrible one. She's probably right. And so I feel as if I had a pretty good example. Now, most people think they did unless your dad, like, left you or hit you or whatever the hell it is. But, like, I do. I feel like I had a pretty good example. My dad, when angry, you were going to run. Because that's a man. But in sorrow, when my brother's child died, did my dad say, "Men don't cry, suck it up, rub some dirt in it"? No. We had a family hug on the front porch of the house. With the ambulance lights on. Trying to figure out how we were going to put the pieces of our life back together. And thank God I didn't have an alpha who was refusing to be there in a role of leadership for the family in that moment. Thank God I didn't have you as my dad. Like, thank God. Because I got a little 6 and 5
anytime
there.
I'm always been the passenger every time
More
I've
than
been
enough
on it.
of a man.
It's uncomfortable for
but
me.
in touch with them feelings too. What my dad would have told you is you're not a man until you can admit that you do need to cry.
It's worse when you're on a bus and it's like you're at the back of the bus.
What he would tell you is over every situation, no. You don't make the football team, you don't cry. You be sad.
Because they
you
have
kind of work hard, you go back and do it again.
They don't have to take this
but
route
with
anymore.
real loss, with real problem,
I don't have to go on this anymore. Usually.
To deny it, that makes you a coward.
But when I do, I'm like, oh, here we go.
I noticed that, dude. A lot of men are running away from responsibility while telling us how to be men. Like, that's insane. Like, it literally is. It's kind of insane. And I don't think what women are looking for is a guy who's carrying a purse. I think you want a little bit of 6 to 5 and pick 'em, right? Be able to handle the man responsibility. Dude, take the garbage out. And if we, break down on the side of the road and you got to change the tire, do that. But after you drink 15 Miller Lights, can you not swing on me, please?
Like a wake and bake with an easy bake oven. The Stansberry Show on Rock 1069.
Welcome back to the Stansberry Show. Give me an hour, I'll get you into Primus. We've been talking about baby girl men. This is apparently Gen Z's obsession with men who will carry a purse to brunch. Now, James, was listening. He's like, do they mean a man who's actually going to carry his own purse, or a man who's comfortable going, all right, dude, I got to hold my wife's purse here, right here, right? And I was like, well, no, they are talking about a man. They gave us pictures of some celebrity men carrying purses around and doing that kind of stuff. And I was like, no, that's what they're talking about. I think most men who are married, or at least, fully committed and in love, have no problem holding the purse, right? Because we've all been there. Yeah, I don't know why I'm holding it either, bro. Like, I don't know. Dude, she hasn't looked in this thing since 1979, dude. And for some reason, everything she owns is in here. So that really wasn't it. I understand why you could maybe walk away thinking that's what they were talking about. It gets a little tricky there. Tim really feels like, this came in off the text line, 330-450-7625, that it's not that women want a baby girl now. They're trying to convince men this is how you get women so that they do it, because there's an effort out there to put men in a subservient role to women. Well, you're not wrong that there is an effort out there to do that. I didn't put this through that filter, but it doesn't necessarily sound that crazy to me. I set the whole premise up saying I don't think most women in Canton want a man who carries a purse to lunch. I don't.
Guess they're putting in an indoor water park.
I think they don't want to hear a guy say, oh, what an F word, when he sees a gay man.
The plan is.
I think that's what they want.
Big one.
You be a man, just don't necessarily have to hate that person because he's not your version of a man.
Coming together quickly.
Isn't that what women really want? And by women, I mean
a lot
people.
faster than I thought it would.
Right? Like, that's where we get ourselves in trouble a lot with this stuff. Is women want, men want. It's like, there's 8 billion of us on the planet. What's right for my relationship would be a nightmare for you, and vice versa. Or at least could be that, It could be that. I noticed this. I don't care what anybody thinks about me, but I'm going to do every last thing I can in the world to be called an alpha man. I want to be seen as an alpha. I don't care what anybody thinks about me, but you better see me as an alpha. You can still wake up at 3:45 and swing that kettlebell around and get the workout in without all the rest of the BS that kind of comes with some of that stuff, right? Like, we know. This woman had been listening with her 12-year-old daughter in the car, and I'm going to leave her nameless because I didn't tell her I was going to say this. Stansberry, my daughter and I were running late as we're listening to your last segment. She's 12 years old. And she said to me, more men need to be like him. She had a father that walked out on her, and her stepfather has since passed away. So many people don't want to deal with a woman who has children. She just got done saying that it would mean the world to her to have a guy that was around, for dinner, help with homework, be a father. And then this woman said to me, and we wonder why so many young women have daddy issues. Yeah, there's some truth in that. And I'm sorry for both of you. I think what could be happening to you, not knowing you, is you might be paying the price for other women. And I do too. And this is what I mean. Like, there's 3 guys who mock me consistently because I'm dating a woman who has children from another man. They just think it's the most dumb thing I've ever done. You're dumb, being taken to the cleaners, dumb simp, right? There's 3 of them that really think that. And here's why. Because some women meet a guy like me, take wild advantage of them, and make them pay for everything, raise those kids, and essentially step into that role. My better half is much more protective than that. I'm part of their lives, but it's not, there's no confusion about whether or not Dan is running the household, or whether or not does Dan pay for everything. She did not just say, oh, thank God we've met now, these are yours. A lot of women have done that to dudes. I don't think it's the bulk of women, but plenty have. And so and you know how this works, like 7 stories go viral. And like, that's what's going to go viral. And so people then think every situation where you're mixing people together like that is that situation, as if the Brady Bunch wasn't on in the 60s. You know, I think you may be paying the price for some other women there. And that's unfortunate. And I hope everybody finds and that fits their life and fits their children. It can be tough. I mean, who do you let near your children? How do you know? That's a hard call, right? I mean, it's a hard call. And so I think sometimes people have their guard up, and then maybe sometimes people have their guard too low, and like now we're getting into the weeds there. We're getting into the weeds there. I have absolutely no problem if she says to me, hey, I'm walking into the bathroom right now. I don't want to can you hold this person? Sure. And here's how I look at it. Because any guy who walks by me and sees me standing outside of the bathroom with her purse in my hand is going to laugh at me until they see her walk out. And then all of a sudden, every guy normally looks at me and goes, all right, man, I kind of get it now. Yeah, dude, I kind of get it now, right? Like, yeah, absolutely. I think too many men have gone into the emotional thing, too. Like, that's part of this conversation, too. And have said, well, I don't want to be anything like the toxic guy, so I'm leaving all my manhood behind, and I'm going all the way into this. And I don't think that's what most people want. Be a man. Have your masculinity. Just don't have it be your entire identity. Nothing should be your entire identity. Good parent, maybe. I would let you slide on that one being your entire identity, because not enough people have that as any of their identity. I'm not yelling at you. You're probably a great parent, those of you listening. This is where the good people normally congregate at 8 o'clock in the morning, right here. I mean, I've done a very good job collecting the decents, you know? And so I'm being facetious there. But, like, I think that's where it really comes down to. Again, everybody's worried about what they're getting. Not enough people worry about what they're sending out. Fix your side of the street. And, you know, as the term toxic masculinity gets thrown around very loosely, I'm going to give you what I think is toxic, okay? This is what my view is. This comes from somebody I knew. It was a friend of the family. And they had 3 children. They're all adults now like I am. 2 sons and a daughter. And the man was open about the fact that he had like college money set aside for the 2 sons and not the daughter. And his thing was, she just needs to marry. That to me is toxic. That to me is toxic. If you don't believe your female, like your female like child should have the same opportunities to explore life as your sons do, that to me is a toxic viewpoint. Both for your daughter and for, here man, she's equipped for nothing, she's your mess now, right? Like that's toxic for everybody involved there. That's not the same thing as being masculine. Like, it isn't. That's to me, because that's not masculine, that's weakness. That's fear that women are gonna outpace you. And like, I guess I'm masculine enough to not necessarily be worried about being outpaced by a woman. You know, since they're human beings and all.
Kind of funny you can listen to him on your smart speaker.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
The Stansberry Show.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
On Rock 1069.
Welcome back to the Stansberry Show. By the end of the hour, I'll get you into Primus. That show's got Coheed and Cambria on it, too. Sometime throughout this week, I'm going to remind you that Coheed and Cambria did an amazing version of Love Gun. I may have to pull that out and get that one played. I kind of like Coheed and Cambria. Might have been the fistful of acid I took when I saw them at Tower City. might have been that night. That might have been what did it. Actually, let's talk music a little bit. Let's do that right now. As we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations, and we'll have the inductions coming up in the fall, and everybody's going to get mad. Oh, mad every year over the same thing. That's not rock and roll, man. That ain't rock and roll, dude. And like all the way back in 1986, they were putting in members who weren't really rock and roll. This is not a new problem. Also, what is rock and roll? Is it Elvis? Is it the Big Bopper? Or is it Slipknot? See? That's kind of what makes it tough. Is rock and roll
Hall of Fame isn't like only for rock
rap?
and roll, it's for just
Motley
music,
Crue?
artists in general.
Because Falling in Reverse would tell you no. So like, whose definition do we use?
Or at least nowadays.
Yeah, see, that's why it's kind of a wide open music hall and everybody gets in.
So it's like,
yeah, almost like that's the reason there, right?
It's still called
now,
that, but it's like,
is there an easy argument to never, ever letting, you know, mother of goat whore into the Rap Hall of Fame? You're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. I guess what I know is that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is going to be a music hall, since that's what it's been since it opened. And beyond
what
that,
he just said.
Why has nobody started the actual Rock and Roll Hall of Fame then? Plenty of people out there to do it. Every musician talks about how they don't care about how they get in it. Oh, I don't really care. I don't really care. I'm going to bitch about who's in, but I don't care if I get in. Right? Then why haven't they all banded together to show everybody what the real Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is? Oh, interesting. It's because you need mass appeal for it to work. How many of you have been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the last 10 years? Yeah, that's what I thought. How many of you, I mean, I do this all the time with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You know how many guys listen to me every day religiously who love football, who tell me boldly they've never been there? That's insane to me. Dude, you dedicate 3 games a Sunday and you aren't like, all right, maybe let's take a walk through the hallway there and see the old helmet. Like, I don't understand the lack of curiosity. Okay? But there is a band that is egregious that they're not in. And it's not just that I think it, I think you'll think it too. Now, they're nominated this year, and I think that they will get in. But it's almost absurd that they're not in already. I love the Foo Fighters. And if we were going to put together a list of the best bands of the last 30 years, it would be, well, the Foo Fighters, and then, well, the Foo Fighters, and then Foo Fighters. Right? I mean, they've been pretty much top of the pops for a long time now. And they've been out long enough, and they go in and all that. It makes all the sense in the world to me that they're in, or that they would get it. All the sense in the world to me. Are you? Little head games, man. Little head games. Little twin spin. Rock 106.9 gets you 2 for 400 Dex. Crank it up. Snap that knob off, man. Get it set to Rock 106.9. Snap that knob off, man. Dude, my business was atrocious back then, dude. Really bad. But, like, dude, come on. Even the ballads. Yeah, man. Even them keyboards. Even them ballads. Foreigner, man. Like, that seems insane to me. Now, this could be my age a little. All right? We've talked about this before with music and kind of coming into your own, right? I've said it plenty of times that young men, I can speak to for young men versus young women a little bit better, right? Since I had been a young man and I'm now an old woman. But when I got my driver's license, like a lot of kids today don't even want it. When I got my driver's license, that was like the ultimate, like, mode of freedom. Right? Like, that was like, we free now, baby. And like, it was all, and like, being a music head, one of the things I could not wait to do was windows down, what I wanted to listen to turned up a little too loud, just cruising. That American thing. Like, I feel like that's like a very American thing for me. Right? And like most young men, I was listening backwards. You kind of go back and find the classic rock, kind of find out what all the bedrock was for the bands you really, really, really like. Now, everybody knows I'm a diehard Kiss fan, so was I excited to get some Kiss albums into that car and get those played while I was driving around? For sure I was. But the 2 other albums that were staples in my first car were Bad Company's 10 from 6, because, I mean, how good? I mean, really good, dude. It's a greatest hits record, so it's pretty good. And then beyond that was Foreigner's greatest hits. My guess is, if I can think back, it was probably Bob Seger's greatest hits, Kiss Alive 2, Foreigner's greatest hits, and Bad Company's 10 from 6. Like, those were the first things in the car. Now, we could do this all day. It's like, I know what somebody's thinking. Dude, why are you dying on the Foreigner hill? Like, there's 1,000 of these hills out there. This organization has gotten this wrong since the beginning of time. Why is it the Foreigner hill you're dying on? Because honestly, we've been doing the induction so long, I've lost track of who's in and who's not in. And I just would have assumed, well, they're in, right? How do you not put them in? I mean, did we even get here? I don't even think I played this one. Oh my God, right? How many of you lost your virginity to that right there? Some of you did now. I've taken down your birthdays while passing out tickets. I know how old some of you are. So, like, come on now. Oh, by the way, I don't know, could you even make this song now? I bet the woke culture, stupid woko, bro culture wouldn't even let you make this one, man. This one. I don't know about Dirty White Boy, man. I don't know if they're going to be alright with Dirty White Boy. Like, Dirty White Boy didn't sound like that's going to be alright. The woke culture, man, took Dirty White Boy away from us, man. But, like, that's so good, dude. Oh, my God, this? Oh my God! Dude, they are relentless, man. Relentless. So Andrew's telling me Foreigner is classic rock. I hate myself for saying that, but just like Van Halen is classic rock as well. Welcome to 2024, buddy. Like, yeah, we kind of know that. You have to have a 25-year active history in order to be considered for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So my guess is most of the bands being considered, like, dude, the Foo Fighters are classic rock now. Like, you know that, right? Like, not their last record, but, like, they're approaching classic rock territory for sure. You don't mean to tell me NCX is going to be playing My Hero soon? They might already be doing it for all I know. Like, honestly, for all I mean, they're in the Alice in Chains territory already. That I saw for sure. And so, like, at the end of the day, you don't mean to tell me that they're going to be in Foo Fighters territory before long? Yes, they will. Absolutely they will. I brought it up because I saw Paul McCartney actually say something about it yesterday. It was a short video, and he just said, hey, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Foreigner's not in? What the F? And he kind of gave, like, a weird, like, tongue sticking out thing that really played awfully for an old man. But, like, outside of that, I was like, oh, God, are they really not in? Foreigner's not in? Like, that seems crazy to me that the Foo Fighters are in before, again, Andrew's right, one of the best classic rock bands of all time. So, since they're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yet, let's get them on Rock 106.9 next.
You're never too old for a good morning kiss. The Stansberry Show, Rock 106.9.
It's 330-450-7625 to send a text. You also need that number by the end of the hour, so I'm going to get you into Primus. Pulled out a little Foreigner there as they're on the nominee list for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and a lot of people were shocked to find out they weren't already in. I was one of those people. It's almost hard to keep track of it. They do it every year, right? And like 50 people go in, and so like it's tough. It's like, are they in? Are they not in? Are they in? Are they not in? And I think Foreigner is well deserving. Aubrey says, well, isn't this about the fact that they're not stars, though? Like, they're one of those bands.
Because I think I know they have like a drum set from them in there, I think.
Well, you're probably not wrong, but I kind of hate that. You know? If we're going to call it a music hall, then and I'm not looking for an argument with you, but like if we're going to call it a music hall, and I have,
then for some reason right
then
next
all
to
the more
Green Day
reason why we
drum
should
set
celebrate
is,
band
I guess
versus
something from Taylor
great
Swift,
catalog,
I guess, for
she
some
said.
reason,
Yeah, and I think that's what gets
that
you in.
goes right next
now,
to
star
Sweet
power
Child
is going to be
Parkway.
part of it, right? Ticket sales is going to be part of it. Like that's now back in the day, they had all of that. Foreigner was selling the shirts, they were selling the records, they were selling the tickets, you know. And what happened is like, well, they got like half the band died, you know what I mean? And so like that's kind of, and they just got kind of old. And which is what kind of makes it crazy to make bands wait as long as you did. Like Ozzy, I believe Sabbath is in, right? And now Ozzy's nominated as a solo artist. Randy Rhoads went in, and that was well past time. The amount of guitar players that have completely ripped Randy Rhoads off and pretended like he never existed a little bit. Looking at you, Slash. Randy's an all-timer, like, for sure. And I've said forever, if that plane doesn't crash, we're having a completely different conversation at the end of the 80s on who the guitar hero of the 80s was. It may have still ended up being Eddie Van Halen, but it wasn't like, I don't think it would have just been, he's clearly the best.
He died from cancer.
Randy was going to have something to say in that conversation. Oh, show, baby. There's a reason why those first two Ozzy records are like, damn, dude. And it's Bob Daisley and it's Randy Rhoads. That's exactly how that happened. So like Randy's in, Ozzy should go in. My point there that it took too long to get to is I don't want to wait until people are dead to be like, yeah, they were great. Let's do this now. Right? If the induction ceremonies matter, then let's get the people in before they need the walker to do it. Right? This is television here that you're doing. I know it's not, I don't believe it's aired live most of the times. But you are looking to air it. I think HBO is the one that carries it. It might be Apple now. It's hard to keep track with everybody these days. I got lucky enough to go to the induction ceremony and actually walk down the red carpet when Metallica got inducted. We were, the station I worked at then was heavily involved in that. I actually have a couple of James picks from that night and some other stuff. And it was a big moment for me, you know, just as a kid who grew up like idolizing those guys. And it was like, going in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And like, it was just kind of, it was an odd experience, you know? And so I like the fact that they're going to do the inductions in Cleveland. Everybody in New York and LA kind of, you know, snickers at it because it's like, Cleveland's not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? New York or LA probably. And, you know, a lot of people want to move it to Seattle because of that scene. I think that scene was too short-lived and we don't have enough of the singers left around. Let's be honest. Right? Like, there's not enough of those musicians left around in that. So I was just kind of shocked that, you know, they weren't in already. Now, I was like, you could do this all day. Right? Like, it's weird to die on the Foreigner hill because, like, there's 1,000 of these bands, right? That they're not in. You made Judas Priest wait how long? Right? Like, there's a lot of that. There's so many of those. But again, let's have that conversation a little bit. Is Judas Priest rock and roll? Or is it metal? Well, it's both. How the hell could it be both? Well, here's how it could be both. When British Steel comes out, it's metal. But British Steel has been out. And so now it sounds like rock and roll. What's new is scary. And these kids with their baggy pants, right? And like this, and like what's new is scary. And it's like metal, bad, not good, this, that. Let's create terms that make it sound like it's negative. Metal, hair rock, wah, wah, wah. Put it in the box, wah. Right? Everybody kind of turns into the Penguin and just starts pointing at stuff like that, like craziness. But now when you listen to Breaking the Law, and I know that's not right, breaking the law, it sounds like rock and roll now, not metal. Because the times have changed. Because apparently Ghost is metal. And so like there's, you know, there's a little bit of that. And so that's why. So how do you do it has always been the conversation. How do you do it? Where do you draw the line? Yeah. Because, like, I don't think Elvis Presley and I'm trying to think of a really good band now that will go in. Yeah, there isn't anybody. This is the who's going to headline the festivals conversation. This is where we are. It's going to be Sleep Token. We'll see. Right? And, like, and so we'll see. But like Elvis Presley isn't the same thing as like a current rock band, obviously. But if you told me, yeah, man, Elvis, they're not putting him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because it don't sound like Slipknot, I'd be like, dude, what the hell are we talking about? He was literally called the king for crying out loud. And by the way, other people called him that. You know, versus like tattooing Chosen One on his back, right? Like other people called him that. And so if you told me he wasn't in, I would be like,
not
what,
wrong, but at
nuts?
the same time is wrong.
What are you crazy?
Depending on
and
who
so
it
like
is.
that's a very difficult thing.
But other than that, it was just funny.
And again, you have to become a little classic Rocky before you're even considered, right? It kind of reminds me of that song. Was it Becky's Mom, whatever that song is, or where he's talking about high school and he's like, when did Motley Crue become classic? Right? And it's like that song, by the way, that song is like 20 years old now. And so like, and it was kind of true then. They were kind of getting into that classic rock territory then, right? We weren't ready to let that go because it's like, nah, man, this is still our stuff. Don't do that to us, man. Don't make me feel old like that, man. But like the truth is, they are. Like Godsmack's approaching, classic rock again. The same guy that said to me Van Halen is classic rock, Andrew, that's his name, thank you there, as he had said, well, Godsmack's classic rock now too. It's like, yeah, man. Like, welcome to it. Dude, we aged. Like for sure we have. Absolutely we have. And so I think they need to get better about this.
Classic rock thing.
There's a little SNL in this. When we were talking about that the other day, where I said, SNL's been playing to their staff too often and not to the audience.
20 years.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has to, they're a little guilty of this too. You've been playing to your staff a little too much than you are to the crowd. And as I'm yelling at people like, what do you mean you haven't been there in 10 years? It's like, well, maybe and wait for this word now. Wait for this word, because watch how I can make it just so easy to put people on the opposite side of this. So maybe if you were, I don't know, a little bit more inclusive to the things I like, maybe if you were more inclusive to the rock bands there, maybe people would come through the turnstiles a little bit more. Turnstiles. I'll tell you what was really crazy as I just say that word. I'm sitting here listening to Jukebox Hero as that's on. And I was like, man, this chorus sounds great. Man, the guitar sounds great. And I thought, I got a lot of young listeners too, man. Are we getting to the point where somebody's not going to know what a jukebox is? Now, touch tunes on the phone and going to the bar and like that's still a thing, so maybe not. But like the fact that we haven't updated what that word is, like jukebox, like the fact that that doesn't have a new name by now is insane. But like again, I've said when you use pop culture, you can kind of like shelve your thing into that moment.